Hi, my name is Mark, one of the pastors here at Trillium. Have you ever had a room in your house you just don't want to go into because it's just crammed full of stuff? You open the door and you just got to shut it again. You even have these thoughts of cleaning it up, but it's just too overwhelming to really get yourself going into. I have my garage, or our garage, is just overwhelmed with stuff, it seems. And we're even hosting other people's stuff as they're in the transition of moving, so it's just crammed full of stuff. And it's been on my spirit lately. It's been kind of bothering me. I don't even realize how much it's bothering me. I want to get this thing cleaned up, but every time I open the door to look at it, I just can't bring myself to get going. And I'm realizing that this stuff I have and other people's stuff, it's kind of taking control of my life. It's overwhelming my life. And I think this is something that's true for a lot of people. I mean, we live in an age of abundance, of material abundance, and our stuff is actually starting to run our lives. It tells us what we can do and what we can't do. It kind of feeds our time and talent and treasure in certain paths. And we get kind of stuck in places that we don't seem to be able to get out of. And this overwhelming stuff really gets in the way of generosity. We've been talking about generosity the last few weeks, talking about turn off the scorekeeper, and also paying attention to the practice of generosity in your life, how important it is in your relationships. And today we're looking at one of the other inhibitors of generosity, which is just our stuff and how it commands our attention. You know, I know people who are overwhelmed with their stuff. I've been to people's homes that are people who are hoarders. Maybe you've seen TV shows around hoarding. There's a show back in the 2000s called Clean Sweep. And I used to love watching it. Just someone's room or even their house is just overwhelmed with stuff. And they just go in and they just clear it out. And they usually make the person give away 90 or 95% of the stuff, or at least throw it in the garbage. And they can only hold on to 5%. And then they build some cabinetry for them and they organize their life so that it's functional, that it works the way it's meant to. And you and I, we're overwhelmed with our physical stuff. And it's commanding our attention, our energy, our time. And now we're being invited by the gospel to essentially divest ourselves of so many things in order to open ourselves up to be generous conduits of God's blessing to others. I mean, we're reminded in the scriptures that God has this really sense of goodness towards us, this grace, this overflowing, unbounded sense of goodness for us, but it only really comes to us in its fullness when we extend it out to others. That's the mystery of it all. As you give, so it will come back to you, is the message. As we get unstuck from our stuff and we open up space in our hearts and minds, our energy, we allow something to move through us and to bless the world around us. And it's not just physical stuff, it's mental stuff, the thoughts that go on in our head, our beliefs, our prejudices, our habits even. I was talking to someone who was mentioning to me about their sister and brother-in-law. And they were mentioning the fact that their sister and brother-in-law are great people, but they each smoke a carton of cigarettes a week and they drink each a case of beer a week. And we were adding up the money in our head. Like that's almost $300 a week, $15,000 a year they're spending of their income on these habits. And it really has consumed their time, their talent, their treasure. I asked my friend, what does this mean for their lives? And he says to me, in a matter-of-fact way, it means they've lost the capacity to be generous. Their generous is being consumed in cigarettes and alcohol. And we all have those kind of habits. It's not just an easy smackdown of somebody. We all have habits that consume our capacity to be generous. Jesus tells us that we have invested so much in our earthly treasures, in our habits and our stuff, our physical stuff, and we've forgotten about the things that really matter most, like love and kindness and generosity and forgiveness, mercy, and on the heavenly treasures that we're meant to focus our minds upon, that we're spiritual beings in essence, meant to extend this kind of love and hope and freedom to the world. You and I have an opportunity to call back our extension into stuff and instead extend it into the practice of pure love, total forgiveness, and unbounded goodness to the world.